Fitness Professional online radio show, where fitness professionals from around the world come to get updates, share ideas, and learn from the pros. You can visit us at fitnessprofessionalonline.com and on Facebook at facebook.com/fitproonline. Now your host, Doug Holt.
Hello and welcome to Fitness Professional Online Radio. Thank you for joining us today. I am your host, Doug Holt. And today we're going to have a very special guest for you, Brian Sutton from the National Academy of Sports Medicine. He'll be joining us on the phone here in a little bit. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about fitnessprofessionalonline.com as it's just opening up to the industry here. Fitnessprofessionalonline.com is containing information from industry experts, an online community where you can answer questions and have monitored by experts. Product reviews. These are independent product reviews that will be given by yourself and industry experts that will be covering them for you. Unbiased reviews. These are not paid reviews that we take from anybody else. These are just reviews that we do ourselves, and we welcome you to submit your own reviews there as well. Online seminars. I know this being the end of the year, a lot of you professionals are actually looking for continuing education units and you're kind of scrambling the last minute. FitnessProfessionalOnline.com will give you a list of online seminars that you can go to. That'll be up there in the near future, as well as maintaining an industry calendar of events, a complete impartial list of events there. We are not represented by any one particular organization. We are an independent company, which makes us different than anybody else that's out there right now. Mastermind groups. You can join a mastermind group led by some of the top professionals around the world, whether that be a specialization in business, personal training, or other health modalities. These mastermind groups are limited and they are restricted, so they are by application only. And you can also find this radio show and podcast also available online, and a slew of other services that we offer. This is for you, the fitness professional, and please give us feedback as we always want to be better. This being our inaugural podcast, we wanted to thank those of you that submitted questions ahead of time via our Facebook page, as well as email, and those of you that called the hotline. Our number here is 805-500-6893. Again, that's 805-500-6893. Feel free to send questions to info@fitnessprofessionalonline.com. If you go ahead and leave your questions brief and to the point, we'll try to address those online when we have time here. As well, if you leave your name, we also give priority to those registered users. Again, registration is free at fitnessprofessionalonline.com. You can also become a friend of our show here on Facebook as well. And we want to thank you for joining us for this first episode. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the call with Brian Sutton. Brian Sutton is the Fitness Education Program Manager for the National Academy of Sports Medicine, commonly known as NASM, a global leader in providing evidence-based certifications and advanced credentials to health and fitness professionals. Brian is instrumental in the development of NASM's education courses from initiation to launch, working alongside some of the brightest minds in sports medicine to create the most comprehensive courses in the industry. In addition, Brian works as adjunct faculty member for California University of Pennsylvania in the Exercise Science and Sports Studies Department. Brian has 2 master's degrees and a slew of certifications to boot. He is a regular contributor to several health and fitness textbooks, publications, and has been featured as an expert in the field of health, wellness, and fitness for FitnessProfessionalOnline.com, ShareCare.com, and HFPN.com. Brian resides in Gilbert, Arizona with his beautiful wife Leslie and his amazing daughter Hannah. He enjoys a variety of outdoor and sporting activities, including golf, basketball, and hiking. Let's patch over the phone lines to Brian Sutton. All right, we're on the line with Brian Sutton. Brian, thanks for joining us today. I know you're moving, it sounds like, so I know you got a lot on your plate. We appreciate you being here.
Not a problem. I'm happy to be here, so thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Just so everybody knows, Brian and I have a long history. We go back quite a ways, lots of stories to be told, but we're not going to talk about those today. So a bunch of questions got sent in. A lot of people were really excited when they found out that you were going to be our first edition of this episode, as was I, of course. And we'll start right off with some of the questions that people sent in for us. The first thing I want to talk about just a little bit is how did you get started in the fitness industry?
Well, that goes back quite a ways, actually, to when you and I first met. We were both working, in a gym at the university, and always loved fitness. I love playing sports. Just loved everything about exercise and training. Sometimes I think I even liked the training aspect more than the competition aspect. So I started working out at a small gym, seeing clients, went through ACES, actually, their program at UC Santa Barbara. And then from there, it just kind of spawned into where I'm at today. Actually, I never thought I would actually ever be having a full-time career in the fitness industry. I always thought you had to wear a suit and tie in order to go into work. So I actually started out as an accounting major during my undergrad, and it took a few years of working in sales and other corporate America type jobs that I didn't enjoy. And I'm like, I had to look back and say, okay, what do I really enjoy, and how do I go after it? And it always came up. It was fitness. I love fitness. I did work as an independent trainer for quite a few years, in addition to my sales jobs. I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go after this 100%, and contacted NASM, got my foot in the door there, and then it took off from there. It took several years of hard work to get to where I'm at today, but really it all started because I love fitness, and I decided at one point in my life I'm just going to go after it 100%, and so made it happen.
That's great. So you're working full time. Did personal training kind of on the side because that was your true passion, and just really decided to go after it? Sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. I love working with clients. I still love working with clients, and so I would typically work my 8 to 5 job, and then I would train either myself or other individuals in the mornings and evenings. And I thought, well, why am I wasting all this time from 8 to 5 at a job I don't like? So let's see what we can do about this. So when I contacted NASM, actually my first job with them was sales, which I'm not a salesperson, but I thought, you know what, this is the right organization to be with. So over the course of my first year of an employment with them, I read every single book that NASM ever published. I went to every single workshop. I did as much as I possibly could. I was in grad school at the time. I'm like, I'm going to learn as much as I can so I can eventually transition into education, which is what I did.
That's great. And it seems like most people in this industry enter into the industry because of the passion for fitness, and often a lot of people take that big jump like you did, but very few people have ever, if ever, have attained the level of education and the roles that you've maintained. I mean, being adjunct professor and also working at the NASM, you've really climbed up the ladder pretty quickly, and it's pretty amazing to see. What's your current role, or can you tell everybody what your current role is with NASM?
Well, I work in the product development department, and I oversee basically all of the new fitness products that come out. So it's helping to write and edit the textbooks. It's creating the online presentations that we offer. It's directing photo shoots and video shoots. It's helping to write exams and any type of exam prep materials that we offer. So really it's taking an idea, whatever topic you want to know about, if it's bodybuilding or training for golf or just personal training, and I'll work with several subject matter experts and say, okay, let's create this course. And that's essentially my role, is to take a product from initiation all the way up through launch. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years now. I absolutely love it because I get to have a direct impact on what others in the industry get to learn.
That's amazing, man. Amazing. Of course, probably what the next question is going to be, and I just want to let the listeners know what's your role exactly at the California University of Pennsylvania? I know you're in the Exercise Science and Sports Studies Department. What are you doing for them?
I'm an adjunct faculty, so I teach a couple different classes, mostly in fitness, wellness, or sports performance program design classes. So teaching individuals how to develop and organize and create specialized, individualized exercise programs for their clients. The classes I do teach also helps people prepare for the NASM certifications that we offer. And actually what's pretty exciting, it's on my plate right now, CalU is going to be updating several classes, and myself and one of my coworkers, Scott Lucette, we're working with the CalU team to update their curriculum. So all the students that go through these classes, we're fixing the curriculum for the bachelor's and the master's level classes to update that curriculum. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. At CalU, it's an online program, so it's for working professionals.
Gotcha.
The bachelor's program is an 8-week semester, and the master's program is a 15-week semester. But yeah, right now I teach 2 different classes, and I'm also helping CalU update their curriculum.
Wow, your plate's double full, man. Sounds like that's fantastic. Got a lot going on.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that's new that's going on at NASM?
We got a lot of projects on our plate. I can't go into detail, unfortunately, about when they're going to be launched or anything like that, because timelines are always shifting depending on priorities and resources. But yeah, we got a lot of products coming out. We're launching our newest certified personal trainer course here relatively soon. So it's actually advertised on our website. So that's been my major project that I've been working on for the last 15 months. We've updated the book. We've updated all the presentations. We've updated all the practice exams and all the ancillary products that will go with the new CPT. So it's going to be the best certified personal trainer course in the industry by far. It's we put a lot of time and money into this product, so it's going to be awesome. But then we're also working on 5 other continuing education courses / specializations that will be launched next year as well. So it's one of those things. We got a lot on our plate. We're always understaffed, but we got a great team, and we all work really hard, and it's fun. It's a really exciting place to be. But you nailed it on the nose. It's a lot of work, but I can't imagine doing anything else.
That's awesome. It's always good to hear people, especially great people like yourself, doing what they love. Well, that brings me to the next question. I mean, obviously NASM's going in a lot of directions, and you're at the forefront of that. But where do you see the industry as a whole? I mean, some people listening to this aren't necessarily personal trainers, but I'm going to assume a good portion are. Where do you see the industry in the next 1 to 3 years?
I see some shifts in the industry in a couple different ways. I think there's trainers are tapping more into technology. So whether it's social media and reaching clients through social media. One of the partners that actually NASM is working with is called ShareCare, sharecare.com. It was started by Dr. Oz and Oprah and a couple other big people in the health and wellness space started this website called sharecare.com, and NASM is actually working with them. It's a lot like WebMD meets Facebook. And
okay.
And I think a lot of trainers can tap into these sort of online communities where trainers can communicate directly with clients, answer their questions, provide phone coaching, provide online coaching. The old corporate model, I think, is dying. My personal opinion. I think smaller gyms and private studios are going to be the new wave. Small time boot camp classes are obviously picking up. So there's a lot of different things, and of course modalities. There's a different training tool for everything now, whether it's proprioceptive equipment like BOSU balls and stability balls, or TRX, big battling ropes, MMA, style conditioning. So it's a fun industry because it's never staying the same. It's always evolving and changing.
Absolutely. Well, let me put you kind of on the spot here then, and you and I have talked a lot about a lot of this before. But is there anything in the industry you see that needs to go away or should go away?
Yeah, probably. Well, granted, I work for NASM, so I'm a little bit biased about this, but I think the fly-by-night certifications, we need to get rid of those. I don't know how, because the industry is self-regulated, but nobody should be able to jump on the internet, buy a certification for $50 and call themselves a trainer. I would like
I
to
couldn't
see
agree
some
more.
strict standards.
Yeah.
So I would love to see some strict standards. Now, whether that comes down to an actual exam, a national exam that individuals have to take, or whether it's licensure by state, like physical therapists and dietitians have to do, where they become licensed in whatever state they are. I don't know what the answer is, but what I do know is that hopefully these fly-by-night certifications can become a thing of the past, and I think it starts ultimately at the gyms and the studios where these trainers are getting hired. If they have strict standards, the certification has to be accredited, then those other type of certifications won't hold any water, and they won't be around much longer.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. We get a lot of conversation on that online as well. And anyway, I know you're moving today, and I appreciate this. I'll say this right off the spot. I'd love to have you back on the show in the future, do follow-up episodes. There's so much I want to talk to you about. But I want to get into, if you don't mind, some of the questions that people submitted. I want to get at least through a couple of these today, and everybody will have Brian back on at a later time, too, to follow up. So, Brian, if you have the time, I'd love to shoot some of these questions off to you.
Yeah, fire away.
Okay. This one was sent by Scott Berman from New York. And Scott asks, I'm new to personal training, but I've been working out all my life. What do you recommend I do to learn more? Kind of a broad question, Brian, but I'm going to fire it out.
Yeah, pretty broad. Well, I would start with with obviously getting an accredited certification. Obviously, I recommend NASM, but there are several good NCCA accredited or DETC accredited certifications out there. So I always think the best place to start is education. Learn the science, learn about behavior modification. So when you start training clients, it's not as new as it could be if without that experience behind your back. I also think it's a good idea to, if it's possible, to find a mentor in your area. There's a lot of really good seasoned professionals that are more than happy to help somebody brand new to the industry. And once you are certified and you are working, don't stop. It doesn't end with the certification, and it doesn't end with a full book of business. So going to workshops, conferences, taking some advanced courses or advanced specializations, even taking a college course, those are all great ways to keep you going in the industries and staying on top of the latest trends, and, of course, learning new science and application tools to it. I personally, myself, I subscribe to several journals, and I'm always reading different journals, whether it's through the NSCA, ACSM, IDEA, stuff that with NASM, we have a lot of stuff that I get privileged to read. So I'm always learning and evolving. You can never stop learning. So take those small steps, and you'll be amazed how far you can grow in a short time, and look back on what you were doing 5 years ago to now. I bet you your training system and your training techniques and the way you've always done things will completely change and evolve. So those are a few tips I hope to help.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's great advice. I think I saw Mike Boyle speak one time. I think he said that if he was training the way he trained 5 years ago, maybe even he said 3 years ago, he would have to sue himself. And you can't fault somebody for becoming more educated, right? We got to keep growing, especially
Absolutely.
in the industry.
Yeah. I just saw Mike Boyle speak not that long ago, and he was showing a video of himself from, probably the late 90s, early 2000s, and a video of one of his clients that he took about a month ago. And he said the exact same thing. He's like, I get critics telling me I'm changing my philosophy and my training style all the time. And his answer is, well, I sure hope so. I'm learning new things. So, yeah absolutely.
Yeah, I know he also dedicates a large chunk of his week just to reading and keep studying. And speaking of critics, it's so easy to be a sideline coach and sideline critic and critique other professionals out there, but people like yourself, Mike Boyle, and many others are out there actually putting themselves on the line, putting it out there to people, and continuously learning. So I have to give you guys a lot of props for doing that. It's easy to critique somebody. It's very hard to submit your ideas to the open forum public, for that critiquing. So you guys are doing a great job.
I couldn't agree more. And you're doing the same thing as well, Doug. So kudos to you. In any industry, but especially in this industry, there's a lot of critics out there. But you have to have some thick skin, especially if you're passionate about your ideas, and go after it. I mean, we're all in the same business at the end of the day, though. It's really to help our clients. That's the main goal. Absolutely.
And if you're not getting critiqued, you're not doing things out there on the limb enough. Let's move on to another question, Brian, if you don't mind. This is from Shannon Vism from California. She says, how do you make a name for yourself in such a saturated market? I'm guessing she's talking about personal training, but this is just a general marketing question. But I'll pose that one to you, Brian.
Yeah, I would say if she's talking about personal training, it's tough. There's a lot of trainers out there, and so I mean that's a tough question. But I always come back to the people that had a big influence on me and what they did, and I think it's a great strategy to keep and to emulate. Number one is reputation and customer service. So when you're with your clients, if you're providing exceptional customer service, if you're doing everything that you should be doing with those clients, they're going to be your best source of communication to potential new clients. So word of mouth is an awesome thing. It's the best marketing you could ever do. Ask your clients for referrals, because if your clients love you, they're going to talk about you. And vice versa, if you're doing a poor job, they're going to talk about you. So I think it starts with providing ideal customer service and treating each and every client as an individual. But I would also tap into some technology. It's particularly social media. I know a lot of trainers out there are getting new clients or even just staying in touch with clients through LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, these different type of social media accounts. So I think that's a great avenue that someone can follow to help get their name out there in a saturated market. You can create your own website. So don't ignore technology. I think it's a huge factor. And then probably the last thing I would do is this is something that I know Doug's been involved with, and some of my mentors throughout the years has been getting involved in charity work and functions. So whether it's sponsoring a local charity event, hosting parties, dinner parties, getting involved in the community, I think that's a great way to get your name out there and for people to understand what you do, what you're passionate about, and then they will follow you and join your business. So I think having a really good PR marketing campaign where you're tapped into the local community, getting involved with charities, fantastic way to get your name out there.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Brian. And I know my fitness business, as far as training studio conditioning specialists, we donate to charitable organizations all the time. I'll throw in to Shannon, just to give her an example, when we had our last party here, it's kind of a client appreciation party, we tied that in with foster children and the Rotary Club of Santa Barbara, where we're based, and we donated money, did fundraisers, and donated all the money and proceeds to foster children. And we raised, if I'm not mistaken, about $4,500 just for foster kids, and that's with the party that we were already throwing. So by tying in things like that, although we're a little more established, allows us just to give back to the community, creating kind of a win-win situation. The kids get the money, we get out there, and it's a great PR avenue for us, although the real reason we did it at this point was just to give back. And also, I'd like to say, it's just a great way to do it. And then I'd like to tell Shannon, we have tons of articles on marketing and the business applications on fitnessprofessionalonline.com. So go there and reach those and post some questions in the community forum. We'll have a lot of people like Brian, myself, and answering those questions for you. But marketing's marketing, and although we all enter this business, or at least most of us, with just a passion of helping people, it is a business, and we have to do that as such. And I think I heard, I think maybe it was Patrick Gambeau or Todd Durkin or someone say that, hey, look, if you don't treat you like a business, then you can't help people. And it was something along those lines, and that really stuck with me hearing that many years ago. And it just makes a lot of sense. If we don't have a business and our doors aren't open, then we can't actually help more people get out there and get fit. So that's great advice.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I had someone tell me one time, personal trainers are afraid to ask for a sale, and because they don't want to come off as being a salesperson. Well, the sale is the first step to helping somebody. If you never make the sale, then you can't provide your services. So it's the same thing with marketing. You got to get out. You got to talk to people. You got to get your name out there. And actually, one of the things my wife and I have been doing lately is we've been working with the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Leslie walks every year in that, and in order to help her raise money for the event, I offer free personal training services. If they donate to her cause to walk in the event. And so it's little things like that, I think, can definitely help get your name out there. And now all the other walkers are asking about personal training with me because they want to get in shape for the next walk and so on and so forth. So,
yeah, and if someone as established as you is doing it, it shocks me that more people aren't doing it that are just getting out there. So, I mean, it really goes to show that even though that you're at the top of the industry, you're still out there giving back to the community and still making a name for yourself.
Yeah, and you know what? To be honest, that's more just as a giving back, but you can take that type of approach and give back and, of course, grow your business at the same time. So like we said earlier, it's a win-win.
Yeah, it really is. All right, we've got time for probably about 2 more questions here. Let's see. Eric from Arizona, no last name given. Let's see what he has to say. Which is a better exercise for improving your vertical, back squats or front squats? What do you think about that one, Brian?
That's a good question. I get you. There's probably a few different theories on that. Reading some of the journals from strength coaches, particularly reading through the JSCR, the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, and I think it's very popular for coaches to prescribe the front squat. Now, that would probably be because of the actual load on the body rather than it being spinal loading directly on your back. It's coming from the front, so you can keep your torso a little bit more erect. My whole thought process on this is don't look at exercise in a vacuum.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is all training is cumulative. So if you want to improve somebody's vertical jump, don't just compare the front squat to the back squat. Let's look at everything. Okay, does the athlete have ideal range of motion through their ankle, through their knees, through their hips, in order to explosively perform a concentric jump? If they don't, then maybe perhaps we're going to have to work on some flexibility for the calves, maybe for their hip flexors. Are they able to fire their glutes properly? Maybe their glutes are inhibited a little bit. And let's prescribe a program for that athlete that's individualized based on whatever movement faults they have, whatever strength faults they have, so then that can then correlate into a more powerful vertical jump. So don't look at it as this exercise versus that exercise. It's really, it's all cumulative. So what are the appropriate stretches for this individual? What are the appropriate muscle activation exercises for this individual? And then what are the appropriate strength training and explosive plyometric tower exercises we can do for this person to help with their vertical jump?
Now, is that following the NASM OPT model?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely does. And what the OPT model is it's a system where we looked at all the different research out there and said, okay, there's benefits to stretching, there's benefits for core training, there's benefits for plyometric training, speed, agility, quickness training, resistance training, all these different types of training out there. We're like, okay, well, how can we take all of this and combine it into a systematic, progressive type of model. And so that's really what OPT is taking all these different forms of exercise and how can we combine it into one and make it progressive based on the individual needs of the athlete. It was really developed initially for athletes, and then over the years we're like, well, you know what, it works for athletes, but it also works for the general public. So whether I need to improve my running back's 40 time or whether I have a 40-year-old mother of two who wants to lose weight after giving birth, well, it really does work because it's individualized. But it's not comparing exercise or modalities versus other exercise and modalities. It's just how can we take all the good parts of everything and meld it into one.
Excellent. No, that's great. I couldn't say it more. I mean, we've known each other, almost 15 years or so, and I learn something every time I talk to you. It's great, Brian. Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. Well, I'm going to end the show just on one random question. I'm going to try to do this each time for everybody, just kind of throw everybody off using something from one of those question books or table topics. So are you ready for this?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. If you had to spend 1 year living alone in a remote cabin, what would you spend your time doing?
Oh, man. I would probably, alone in a cabin, all right, I would probably, would I have access to books?
Sure.
Okay, I would probably be doing a lot of reading. I'd probably be doing a lot of exercise, and probably, gosh, I really don't know, trying to learn my way of the land, how to live off the land, because obviously survival would be number one, but if I was by myself, it would that would be interesting. It would be a very intrinsic type of experience where I learn a whole lot about myself. I don't know. I'm a private person to begin with, but solitary confinement probably wouldn't be my ideal situation. So it would probably be a lot of reading and a lot of exercise and trying to learn as much as I can about the land. That's
fantastic. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for being on. I'd love to have you back. I know you're moving today, so thank Leslie and Hannah for us taking you away for a little bit, and I'd love to have you back on. We didn't get through even maybe a tenth of the questions that we wanted to today from the listeners that posted those right away, and for our first episode, I think that went a lot more than we thought we were going to get. So I apologize to everybody else that submitted a question. We weren't able to get to it. But, Brian, can people find you on Facebook? And I know they can find you on fitnessprofessionalonline.com. And we'll post this radio show as well up there and on the Facebook page. But where else can people get a hold of you?
Sure. Well, you can email me. It's brian.sutton@nasm.org. You can find me on NASM's Facebook page. As well. I'm answering questions on there quite a bit, particularly if it's related to content. So if you have a question about nutrition or exercise, feel free to post it on there or find me on Facebook. I'd be more than happy to help, or you can just send me a direct email. That's fine.
That's great. Thanks, Brian. And if anybody needs you, they can just find you in that cabin in the remote woods, right?
Right, yeah, probably training like Rocky did in Rocky IV, chopping up wood and running uphill. So, yeah, it'll be a good time.
I could see you doing that. Great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Wow, what a great call. I feel like I can talk to Brian forever and just always learning things. We go way back. Thank you for joining us for this first episode. Again, if you have any questions, please submit those to info@fitnessprofessionalonline.com or calling our hotline at 805-500-6893. For myself, Doug Holt, and the staff here at fitnessprofessionalonline.com, we want to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week for another show.
You can join in on the conversation at fitnessprofessionalonline.com. If you have any questions for Doug Holt or the staff regarding Fitness Professional Online Radio, please feel free to email us at radio@fitnessprofessionalonline.com or call us at 805-500-6893. Have a happy and healthy week.